Our first operation on this part will be to remove the extra material on the face of the part. If we zoom up, we can see that between the green line that represents the face of the part and the white line that represents the outer edge of the material, we have a gap of about 100 thousandths. We'll need to remove this material. To begin, we're going to move up to NC, down to Lathe, and here we see two choices, face and face off. Face off is a simplified version of a facing operation designed simply to cut the face of the part quickly. We're going to use this to begin. Going to click on face off, and SURFCAM asks us down at the bottom left hand corner to select a point on the face. I'm going to click end point up here and click on the green line that represents the face of the part. The next question asked is to select a point denoting the major diameter. Once again, I'm at end point. I'm going to click on the outer edge of the stock boundary. This will be our major diameter. The final question is to select a point denoting the minor diameter, or done if that minor diameter is 0. That is, if we want to cut to the center line. That is the case, so I'm going to click on done. Now our tool information appears. Probably the most important button on the Tool Information tab is the Select Tool button. If we look up at the top, we can see that we have a diamond insert, round inserts, triangular, threading inserts, and grooving inserts. In this case, with the diamond inserts, we have all the tools showing that are available right here. It's important to realize that these tools are not just OD tools, but an assortment of ID tools, and if we go down a little bit farther, you can see ID backface and OD backface. ID face, OD face. So it's extremely important to make the correct tool selection at the beginning, otherwise you won't be able to perform the operation at all. In this example, I'm going to choose an 80-degree tool and make sure that it's an OD face turning tool. Here I'll choose one with a 1/16 radius. I'll click OK, and then I'll move down to my tool number. I'm going to call it tool number 1. Give it a length offset of 1 and a diameter offset of 1 for this example. If we go down a little bit farther, you can see our spindle speed here. If we want to run with constant surface speed, we can simply click on it, and constant surface speed will be applied in the program. We've also got inches per revolution or inches per minute. I'm going to leave it at inches per revolution and move to the face-off control. Once we're in the face-off control menu, there's just a few things we have to program to get the tool path to be created. One of the most important things is the rough and/or finish cut tab. If we look, we can do a rough cut only, a finish cut only, or do a roughing and finishing cut. Here I'm going to choose both. A little bit farther down is the stock to remove. This is how much material is between the face of the part and the edge of the material. We said earlier that it was 100,000, so I'm going to enter that value in here. Right below that is our roughing depth of cut. Here I'm going to make it 50 thousandths. To the right of that is our finishing depth of cut. I'm going to make that 10 thousandths. If we look down in the bottom left-hand corner, here we can see that the number of finishing passes is 1. That means that we'll take at least one final pass that will take off 10 thousandths. I'm going to make that 2 for the finishing passes. The angle controls how the tool approaches the part. Here we're cutting at a minus 90 degrees from the top down. We'll retract by 0, but we'll also get our clearance value of 100 thousandths applied to that, so the retract of 0 doesn't necessarily affect us here. Any lead-in move we make will come down at an angle of minus 90 degrees and at a length of 100 thousandths. If we lead off the part, we can lead out at 30 degrees or any angle we choose and apply a distance to that lead out move here. I'm going to accept this information and click OK down at the bottom. Now SURFCAM is asking us to pick a lathe retract point. I'm going to zoom out slightly and just sketch a point out here where I want the tool to retract off after the operation. It's also asking for a lathe clearance point. This is not necessary and is usually used only for ID operations. Here I'm going to click None and we'll see our tool path created. I'm Going to click Accept, and we're finished.